All right, welcome guys. Episode 10. We're on the double digits now. It's been a good 2.5 months. Anyway, so
I am finally out of, as Seb said, out of the back cave, and I've gotten another lamp.
Yes.
So now people can actually see me. Amazing.
Yeah, and I'm sticking with a white light because I noticed the blue in the background affects my camera, so I'm gonna stick with the bright white lights. And so I don't mean to keep changing the schedule on everybody, but this is the last time the show is gonna be uploaded on Tuesdays, and then we're gonna do a new episode on Friday, and then I'm gonna upload it the next day. I'm gonna upload it the night of, and then it's gonna be scheduled at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. So we're gonna have basically 2 episodes this week. It's the only way I can really fit in the schedule. So anyway, so let's start with introductions. So Mitch, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Mitch, and I'm back. And you can find me on Twitter at uneducatedpop.
Yeah, it's nice you don't have to listen to 3 of us talk anymore. Now you get
Right. Now it's the 4 of us. So
Yeah.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, no,
That's great. Now we can just whenever we make a mistake, we can just throw it on Mitch, say it was his fault.
Right.
definitely.
Mitch has been
Restart the
gone for a
podcast.
while.
It's gonna happen. You guys
We have
about.
a practice that we all have.
All right, Dory, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Dory. I go by she, her. If you're looking for me on Twitter, I am. My username is declare192.
Cool. James.
I'm James, and I'm Untitled Smithy on Twitter. Yeah.
And I'm Sebastian. I'm the podcast host. So before we do what we're currently playing, I actually want to start with the poll. I think we're gonna do the poll early in the show. So James.
Okay, so the poll this week was I asked people on Twitter, what game will you be picking up with your PS5 on launch day? So we had the options were Demon's Souls, Miles Morales, Godfall, and other. So 21% said Demon's Souls, 59% said Spider-Man Miles Morales,
Shocker.
17% said other, and a dismal 3% said Godfall.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
Knowing that,
One of that. No, I'm kidding.
knowing that all 4 of us are gonna say Miles Morales, I'm gonna ask Mitch. So what's the PS5 pre-orders like in Australia right now? Is it still totally delayed to next year, or do they update that?
I asked last week, and we are officially sold out till February.
And how do you feel about those games being like $125 now?
Oh,
Is that
I'm
absurd as much as it sounds?
Look, yeah, it's pretty freaking absurd because before what we used to have them for 100, and depending on where you could go, you could find them, brand new for like $70. So that wasn't too bad. But now that they're 125, I don't know if everything is going to be just upscaled to 125, or if it's going to be like 100, or I don't know. I'm in the same camp with everybody that I think the price increase is not dumb, because I understand game budgets are increasing and whatnot, but I think it's not very friendly on the consumer.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
It's interesting. It's interesting how everything went up in other countries. Like James said, his went up was it? What did you say? 70 quid, right?
We're at £70 now. Yeah,
£70. Yeah. So his is supposed to be cheaper than us because it has more value than the dollar. But it's interesting that other countries it's basically gone up way more than us. Like if you think of the value, ours only went up $10, but for everybody else, it seemed like it went up like $20. Like in all the countries.
Australia loves to upsell everything, pretty much. Because so I think because your PS5 consoles, like the regular is $500.
Yeah.
Whereas for us it'd usually be about
plus tax
$650 or maybe $700. Yeah, plus tax. Whereas where we've gone all the way up to $750, it's like I don't even know what's happening. Yeah.
Because
it's really weird.
Mine was about $536 overall. I check my pre-order every day. Before I go to bed. I check my email.
Imagine having a pre-order down.
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
All right. So, Mitch, were you gonna get the PS5 if it was available, or were you gonna wait anyway?
Oh, absolutely. If I had the money, absolutely.
Yeah, that sucks, man.
But yeah. Until then, though, I guess I'll just cradle my PS4 every night and pray to God that somehow I wake up one morning with a PS5 in my room.
So
who knows?
So like, are you gonna get Miles Morales on the PS4, or are you gonna just wait?
Part of me is like sort of gonna like say no, I'll just hold out for the Ultimate Edition, but then again, I don't think I'd want to, I don't think I can stay away from spoilers for 4 months, so I'd just have to. I'd probably get it on PS4, and then apparently there's the upgrade path to get the remaster.
Yeah, it's really simple. They've been really straightforward with how they've communicated how that all works, so that should be no problem for you.
Yeah, that'll be.
What is it with Marvel games and having really complicated marketing these days?
Am I the only one that understands it? Like, didn't have a problem like understanding.
I mean, you can admit it's a little complicated.
It is, but I just view it because it's a remaster that they're charging you for. I think that's what. It's not even an upgrade; it's a whole different game. I think.
Yeah, I think it's complicated in that I think if you buy the PS5 version of Miles Morales, you can you upgrade to the Ultimate Edition then, or if you buy the PS4 version, I'm not sure.
I saw that you can pay like $20 or whatever for like an upgrade path if you have, or if you just have it on PS5. You can pay $20 to get the upgrade path, but
I don't know.
Yeah, so if you have it on PS4, you can get the free upgrade. Yeah. Is there a free upgrade?
Yes.
Yeah, free upgrade to PS5.
Yes.
And then
PS4.
you get the upgrade to you pay for the upgrade to the remaster.
Supposedly. Yeah.
I don't think you can get it separately though, so I think you have to you have to buy the bundle of the Ultimate Edition to get it.
I mean, they'll release it separately at some point.
I think so too, but it might not be. It might be like 6 months later though. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
If anything.
I only asked you because you weren't on last week. I just wanted a quick catch up with you when you're.
That's perfectly fair. Yeah.
All right, so let's start with what are we currently playing. So Dory, what are you currently playing?
Hi. I'm playing this game. It's extremely frustrating because I want this game to be really bad so I can continue to dislike roguelikes. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I have to report to everyone that Hades is an excellent game and everyone should be playing it. And unfortunately, now I like roguelikes. I'm very upset with myself. I promised this would never happen, and it has happened. But yeah, I've been playing a ton of Hades, and I'm really loving it, all joking aside. I've been playing a little bit of Spiritfarer. And I don't think I've been touching my PS4 too much. Like I've been playing it a lot lately. Ever since I kind of finished with the whatever last game I was playing. I've been playing Paradise Killer as well. So a lot of playing on my Switch lately and my Switch Lite.
Nice. Actually, I can relate to that. I've been playing on my Switch a lot recently too. I dusted it off. All right, James, what are you currently playing?
I suck at this segment because there's always something I forget.
Nice.
But aside from Mafia Definitive Edition, the only thing I can think of that I have been playing this week is Mario 64.
Yep.
On the 3D collection, of course.
Same.
Which there's a lot about that game that doesn't age very well.
No, the camera.
The gameplay and everything is very fun, and it ages surprisingly well. I mean, it's a platformer. Platformers tend to age pretty well. Mm-hmm. I think at least. But like stuff like the text boxes and yeah, like you said, the camera. Yeah. Not a fan of that at this point.
Yeah, the camera's not that great, and obviously like there's some levels that I dread, even though as much as I love that game, like there's certain levels I always dread that I have to do this. Especially the rainbow one around the end of the game. Where you have to sit on the platform that goes on a track. That's the worst.
And what I'm dreading is when I run out of lives. Because I don't know what happens when I run out of. Do I have to start over from this beginning?
No. You just they take you outside and then you just go back.
Yeah, I think it just respawns you in front of the castle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's fine.
You don't get penalized for losing lives. All right, Mitch, what are you currently playing?
I'm kind of hopping between a lot of things lately. After the let's just say pretty dismal Black Ops Cold War Alpha. I've reinstalled Call of Duty World War II of all games, and getting back into that for a little bit because I don't know. I guess I've just been really missing that, and it's zombies mode, and also got Watch Dogs last weekend for like $10, having some fun with that, and also I'm still somehow playing Marvel's Avengers, even though the content they have at launch is pretty dismal. But yeah.
I ditched Avengers pretty much after I played with you. Yeah. I haven't played it since.
Yeah.
I haven't played it since I beat the campaign.
Yeah.
I never played it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't blame anyone for ditching it after the campaign, because the end game just doesn't, for some reason, like, it already has a limited pool of content, yet for some reason they keep rotating content in and out, so you can never play every single mission, like any mission at any time. You just have, like, if there's a mission you want to play, you have to wait until, you know, the war table resets magically and you get new missions. It's really dumb.
Yeah, it's exactly what I thought would happen, where the content is going to be repetitive, it's going to be fighting robots, they're going to have no content for months, and then everybody's going to get sick of it and move on to the next game.
I mean, I was going to trade it in, but I was going to trade it in, but I have to keep it to capture gameplay.
I have it digitally, so I can't even do it.
Oh.
You haven't done the review, right? I'm not going.
Yes. No. Sorry. I'm working on it. I've been busy with school the past couple of weeks, but
no excuses.
No excuses.
That's no excuse.
PSPremiere comes first. And screw school.
Right.
Oh yeah.
If you have to drop out of school, you have to.
PSPremiere the whole time. Friggin' school, man.
He's writing the script in school, like in class. He's writing the script for the review.
Teachers are.
There was a time where I wanted it, actually. Yeah.
Are like asking Mitch like what he's doing with his time all day, and he like sniffles and says, "My masterpiece." You wouldn't understand.
My magnum opus.
That's right.
So is that everything?
And it is.
Oh, cool. So I forgot to say that I beat Darksiders Genesis. I beat Black Ops 3, which I didn't really care for. I beat, even though James showed me an interesting video, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is that the video basically where it just recontextualizes the whole plot?
That one.
Yeah.
Like I would tell you who it's by, but I can't think of it off the top of my head, and it would take me forever to find it.
But it was the gameplay that I didn't like the most. Like it was buggy. It was buggy. I didn't like fighting robots. I didn't.
Unfortunately, they can't recontextualize the gameplay.
Yeah,
which is
that was my biggest problem. The story at least tried.
Trolls, it's become the whole new game.
Yeah. And so I'm playing the Mario All Stars. I'm playing Mario 64. I got about half the stars. What else? I'm playing Mafia. I'm at the end almost, and then I still got Modern Warfare to play the campaign. So that's gonna be what I'm gonna be playing next week. Oh yeah, and then Star Wars comes out next week, so I'd probably be doing that. Yeah. But
what about the last advertising for that, huh?
What?
I'm sure they'll ramp out very soon.
Surely it's not coming out next week.
Friday.
It's coming out next week.
Yep.
That's definitely not going to be a flop.
Yeah.
But did you guys see the animated short they released for it?
No. It was a short?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Oh, it was really good, actually. It was really good. It was. I think that was a few weeks ago.
Fighter, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was super good.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
I
it was
didn't
like,
watch it.
like animated, like Gendy Tartakovsky or something like that. But
okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
And
even then, though, I don't
weird because like I thought it was coming out in the middle of October, and B, there's been no advertisements. I haven't seen anything on YouTube. IGN hasn't done a preview. I've just seen nothing about it. And so when someone was like, "Oh, hey, Squadrons comes out next Friday, right?" I'm like, "What?"
I thought it was coming out like late October.
Yeah, I thought it did too. Sorry, every time I look at the cover art or key art for that game, I'm like, oh, okay, that's a cool little piece of art. And moving on, I guess, because I already don't really. I'm not that interested into like the Squadrons side of Star Wars and all that stuff. But I think even then, it just looks really low budget, like one of those games that EA just makes to kick onto the license. Really.
Yeah.
It's not full price, right?
I mean,
No, it's like 40,
no, it's not
40
full price,
bucks.
but it's like it has that distinct level of cheapness to it
Sure.
that, like,
I don't
budget
know.
games have.
I don't know if it's cheapness. Like, I think it looks pretty high quality. My thing is, if it doesn't have VR day one, I'm not getting it day one. It has to have VR
I'm only
day one.
really.
It does.
I think it does.
I'm
on
only.
Wikipedia right now, and they haven't done any marketing since that CG short, which was almost 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, there's no marketing at all, which is very strange. It's Star Wars.
I'm sure once the review's hit, they'll
Yeah.
right up there. But yeah, I'm really only interested in the gameplay. To be honest, I'm not a big Star Wars guy, so. But I do like me some dogfighting games.
No, the gameplay is what I'm interested in the most. The story I could care less.
Yeah.
Story looks pretty generic, honestly.
If anything, the fact that it has a Star Wars coat of paint on it is a negative for me. I'd actually prefer it if it was like jets and stuff. But yeah,
that's what excites me.
I know that's sacrilege, but
that's what excites me because the Battlefront 1 VR thing they had was pretty awesome.
Out on Star Wars that it's like just a medium thing, just like a math thing. Like I'm like, okay, cool. I like the sound effects and the music and that sort of environment I appreciate, but I mean, I kind of with Smithy that I could care less if it's a Star. I mean, I guess I am buying it because it is a Star Wars. Interested in buying it because it's a Star Wars game, but I don't know if you have all the same stuff, but you got rid of the Star Wars name. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as much as Disney screwed up the sequel trilogy, I'm always excited about Star Wars. So.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta start moving on because this segment's getting a little long. So we're gonna be doing a live react to the Game Awards on December 10th. They didn't specify what time what time it starts, but I think it's probably gonna be like 8 o'clock or something. It's gonna be James. You're gonna have to stay up really late on that one, James.
I've gone. I think it was last year or the year before. It must have been the year before. I stayed up for it because it was on. I think it started at like 2 a.m. for me, and I stayed up and I started watching it, and I had work the next day, and it went on for like 3 hours.
Yeah, it's really long.
So
it was like 3.5 hours, right?
I had to call in. Don't tell my boss, but I had to call in sick because I was too knackered the next day.
He's listening. He's probably listening to the podcast.
Boss, if you're listening, hi. First off, second.
Yeah, because I remember it ending at like 12:30 at night. So I was like, "Dang, this went on for 3.5 hours."
Yeah,
I think it's probably the only gaming event that's actually, been on at a reasonable time here in Australia. Like last year, I tuned into it, and it started like 2 p.m. or like 11 a.m. or whatever through to 2 p.m. And I'm like, wow, I can actually watch this without being interrupted.
So
it's amazing.
So are you gonna do a live react with us, or would you rather?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll definitely skip out on my birthday celebrations to come hang out with you guys.
Cool.
Ignore the sarcasm, though. I definitely will be.
You better get a better mic though, because I don't want to hear that noise during the show. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
This is amazing.
I'm interested to see how they do it though, because it's going to be, obviously they can't do it live on a big stage, and it's going to be in 3 different countries. They're doing it in LA, London, and Tokyo. It's gonna be
like this. It's gonna be a live stream, webcams and people.
Yeah, so they're gonna have 3 hosts, 1 in each country.
So is it? So it's what did you say? So California.
I think it's LA, London, and Tokyo, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I didn't think of that. I don't know.
I mean, I don't think Keeley can be in 3 countries at once. I mean, he's a talented guy, but even that's a bit extreme for him.
Maybe that's a good question. Maybe they just mean like a pre-show would be in the different countries, and then like the regular show is the same for everybody else. I'd imagine.
But they usually have awards in the pre-show, though, right?
Yeah, they rush it.
They churn out awards in the pre-show so they can have more time for the world reveals in the main thing.
Yeah, they usually do the awards that no one really cares about. So there's like best multiplayer shooter, Fortnite.
Okay. They've even like ushered along. They've even like run through some seemingly big awards. I think they did best score. They just sort of did it on the side.
Yeah,
but I mean, you can't blame them because they've got to make room for Hydrobot, right?
All right, Celeste. Okay, next. Yeah.
What are they going to do this year? Are they going to have Hydro bought in 3 different countries?
I do like, in all seriousness, I do like that they have recently added an award for accessibility and stuff. I'm hoping they don't just push that to the side.
Yeah.
Is there any doubt that The Last of Us is winning that? Is there any doubt?
At this point, no.
I
think
Cybergunn's not out yet.
All the games that are scheduled to come out are currently rushing to get their accessibility options in there.
You know they're gonna
just so they can win something. Yeah.
They're gonna extend the deadline for Cyberpunk. There's no way they're gonna let Cyberpunk not be at this award show.
I don't know.
Because the deadline's the 15th, and then Cyberpunk comes out the 17th. So
yeah, because
they screwed over.
Something I'd say they'd say, "Oh, COVID is making us delay the submission deadline."
Yeah, he'll find a way.
Exactly 2 days.
Especially if Cyberpunk is like gets a 97 on Metacritic or something. There's no way you can just ignore that game.
Well, they're not gonna ignore it. They'll do it next year.
No, you can't do it next year. No one gives them give a shit. Because that's what happened to Jedi Fallen Order. No one gave a shit.
That's what they did with Super Smash Bros. And that was a Game of the Year contender.
Yeah, but that Smash Brothers is like a household name. I mean,
plus, they were still doing DLC updates for it.
Yeah,
I think
still
the hype died down. Like you can't. Yeah. I mean, I guess they could.
Well, I mean,
DLC for
the hype for The Witcher 3 was long-tailed.
Yeah, but even Smash Brothers, like after it came out, we had the big Banjo-Kazooie announcement, and we had the Persona announcement. It was still very in the atmosphere. It was still very much popular in the atmosphere with the game. So the environment. I mean, so all right, let's move.
Anyway, just to wrap up this segment, we should obviously announce that the Accessibility Awards this year, the Game Awards, will be presented by Shix Hydrobot. Right?
That's a shame.
The Last of Us has a good shot at the accessibility, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. The cynic in me is saying that Sony probably just like slid in some money on the down low just to Jeff Keighley and all that. It's like, hey, you know what? You should really just put, an accessibility category in there. There's this little game called The Last of Us that really highlights how good accessibility can be in video games.
Yeah.
I mean, in all seriousness, though, it is a good award on multiple fronts, not just because it recognizes the games that actually make an effort for that thing, but also because it'll sort of encourage more studios to put more effort into that, I think. Yeah. Because they'll put more of a spotlight on it.
I mean, I think the last big game that had that touted big accessibility features was PS5 or something, last year.
Yeah, something like that.
Speaking of shady business, let's get into Mafia Remastered. So I'll let you kick that off, James.
Shady business, right? I mean, I'm writing the review. Actually, I've written the first draft of the review already, because it's quite a short game, isn't it?
Yep.
There's only 21 missions, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, it feels incredibly well paced. They really use those 21 missions. If you sort of asked me to pick a favorite out of those, I'd have a hard time because they're all really strong. There's no weak points.
Yeah.
The story's the best part, right?
Yeah, the story's the best part. Yeah.
Yeah, and but only where it falls short is the gameplay. Because it's still, the thing is, it's weird because I feel like in the marketing they were saying, oh yeah, it's ground up remake of the original, blah blah blah, and it's not really. I mean, it looks brand new, right? The graphics are all brand new, but I assume it's built off of the original because the gameplay still feels like a PS2 game.
It does, yes. It's just a fresh coat of paint.
Which is, pretty much. And I don't know, it's quite buggy as well. I'm sorry, just listing off all the points here, but I don't know if you experienced any.
I didn't get any bugs, but I got animation pop-ins, and the animation was a little weird.
There was some really bad pop-in,
but not gameplay problems. I had zero gameplay problems.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have anything game-breaking, but I did have one point. One of the cutscenes was just a black screen, so I had to restart the whole game.
That happened to me once, actually.
Yeah.
So I'll give you guys a quick summary or rundown of the game, introductions. Obviously, it takes place during Prohibition when alcohol is illegal in America, and you play as Tommy Angelo, That's actually my uncle's name, which is very strange. But anyway, I'm Italian.
So Italian, you're featured in Mafia. So
yes. It's the game of my people. There's a guy named Vincenzo and Polly, and I have cousins. Everybody in this game has the same. I know everybody in my family has the same name as the people in this game. Anyway, so it takes place in like 1933 to 35 or whatever. He joins he's a cab driver. He kind of gets thrown into the mafia, and he just decides to stick with it. And basically, the whole game is basically a linear game where you just go through different story arcs where and he kind of, there's some missions where you have to steal a car, some missions you have to kill someone, there's other missions where it's basically a Grand Theft Auto game, really. Like Grand Theft Auto is the same structure.
That's the most surprising thing, isn't it? How it's like it's a very linear game, but in an open world.
It's not really a sandbox game. It's a linear game.
I know, it goes from when one mission ends, the next one starts immediately.
Yeah.
You don't get an opportunity. Yeah. There is free roam, but it's like you have to select it from the main menu as a different thing.
Yeah, it's not like Grand Theft Auto where it's like you just do what you want and then you go to the mission. It goes right into it. It's a linear game.
I think that helps its pacing so much because there's no like side missions and everything. You don't have to go from one mission to the next and all that sort of stuff. It's sort of every mission feels like a snapshot because it's sort of being told like a story. So it's just the big events.
Yeah.
So
the characters are great. The writing's great. The dialogue's great. Character models are great, even though the animation can have it's more of the environment that pops in, but the character models look really good. It looks like, I don't want to say it looks like a next gen game, but it's a pretty high end PS4 game. Like the character models look pretty good.
I was going to say it looks it looks basically on par with Mafia 3 in terms of visuals. When Mafia 3 has some damn good graphics.
If only Mafia 3.
It's a little.
Go ahead.
It looks great, but it's a little glitchy. It's a little rough around the edges, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like that hurts it quite because it's like even if it's not big things, there are little bits that are maybe in the corner of the screen or something like that. Every scene. Pretty much, and it's a little irritating in that way because as good as like the character models and the lighting looks and everything, there's always that one thing that where it's like, okay, this looks a little rough.
Yeah. But the biggest problem with the game is the gameplay, the controls, the running animation is really awful. It's really bad, especially after playing The Last of Us Part 2. It's so bad. And climbing is really difficult. It's just very janky. You gotta press triangle to climb on things.
The melee as well. The melee
Melee's
combat
bad.
is like There's no weight to it really. No. You just sort of press circle to punch,
dodge, and circle to punch.
Yeah. And that's it really. There's not much to that. That's very sort of PS2. Yeah,
you spam circle and then there's a button, a quick time event that comes up and you finish them, which is that's pretty cool. But
yeah.
Cover mechanics plays just like a Red Dead or Grand Theft Auto. You hide behind a wall and you shoot, and you can have auto aim if you want. It's up to you.
The thing is about all that sort of stuff, about all the gameplay and everything that feels outdated, is you get used to it pretty quickly. After a few missions, it goes to the back of your mind.
Yeah,
and after that, when you get all the big set pieces and everything, that's like it starts to become really fun.
Yeah, of course. Well, this game is an 8 out of 10 to me, so I think it's quite good. It's dated, but it's not horrible. It's not unplayable. Like Mafia 3 to me was unplayable. I couldn't even finish it. This game I have no problems. The only thing I don't like is the driving. Obviously, the driving's older cars and stuff, but the controls.
I like the driving quite. I was surprised how much I like the driving.
That one race was pretty bad.
I thought that one race was fantastic. Mind you, I probably didn't fail it as many times. I didn't fail it at all.
I beat it on the first try, but I just didn't like it.
Okay. Yeah. I assume just because I play a lot of racing games, maybe that was better for me. But I kind of like how weighty the cars feel because it feels kind of authentic for that time.
It does, but it's kind of a pain. Yeah, look, there's just missions where you have to chase somebody in a car, and the AI is perfect, and you're not. So
the car chase missions were like, okay, you can go when you're going through some tight alleyways and stuff, they can be a little annoying. But on the whole, I thought they were okay. The worst thing for me was there's a mission where you're chasing somebody on a motorbike. And that was absolutely atrocious because the bike is so unresponsive.
Yeah.
It honestly, I had to restart that one like 5 or 6 times.
So you're like more than halfway through the game now then.
I finished the game.
You finished it? Okay.
Yeah. Like when I started off at like a 7 out of 10.
It's a short game.
I've gone up since then. I won't spoil the actual score, but yeah, I got warmer on it as I.
Well, I know it's not below a 7, so you should spoil it. Oh, I'm just playing.
I'm not close enough, right? But there you go.
All right, no worries. I don't even much to add more to that, right? Like we hit the gameplay is outdated, but everything else is pretty good. The environment can be a little janky, poppins, but other than that, it's a pretty gorgeous looking game.
I plan on because I got the trilogy. I plan on going through Mafia 2 again next, so I can't speak to it yet. But I heard that it was a similar thing where it was very buggy and rough around the edges and that sort of thing.
I believe Jim Sterling did a review for one of the remakes. I think that was Mafia 2. I think I talked about this before as well. But yeah, it's incredibly buggy.
Yep. So,
good luck.
If you're not really into it, maybe it'll be on sale soon, but. Like eventually,
yeah. I definitely say it's worth the value.
Yeah, I think so.
How much is it retailing?
$40.
$40, okay.
Well,
£35 UK.
You can buy it separately for $40. Or you can buy the trilogy for $60. But I have no interest in playing 3, so I didn't.
I only got the trilogy because the box was nice and I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, like I said, I got it digitally.
Yeah.
So I recommend it. It's molto bene. So anyway,
There you go. That should be the tagline.
Right.
Yeah. Sono Italiano. All right. So let's move on to Final Fantasy XVI. Apparently it's coming out much sooner than we think. It's been according to Jason Schreier. He said this on a podcast. He said, "I've heard from people who are familiar with the game's development. It's actually been in development for at least 4 years in some capacity. So it's coming out sooner than people think. And now it has a rating. It has a PEGI 18 rating. So if a game has a rating, it has to be close."
PEGI 18 is the first of the series, right? Because I don't remember. Final Fantasy
maybe for a main series, but Type 0 is rated M. That was violent game. But for a main series, yeah.
I was actually kind of surprised to see the blood and stuff in the trailer as well.
Yeah, for a main one, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was quite bloody.
Yeah, that's not a surprise that it's rated M at all, actually.
I mean, I guess they really are leaning into that Game of Thrones aesthetic because things are going to be dark.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope there's like a red wedding scene in that game or something.
It's just anime characters getting slaughtered.
Jesus Christ.
30-second clip we're going to use. Yeah. It's not going to be now that it's
yeah. So the biggest surprise is that it's so soon. So we thought maybe 2022 because we didn't get a release date at all. But
yeah, for sure.
But if you're getting a rating and everything, and it's 4 years in development, I feel like next year is maybe in November.
I mean, how much does the average mainline Final Fantasy take? Is it very variable, or does it have a constant? Do we know?
10 years, right? Wasn't it?
No, that's just Nomura. That's just Nomura. No,
there's Final Fantasy, and there's Kingdom Hearts. Come on, they have a difference.
Let me think. 10 was 2001, and then 12 was 2005, and then 11 was 2011, maybe 2010 or something. And 15 was every 4 years.
Is it like a Ubisoft? Is it like a Ubisoft kind of situation where there's multiple different studios working on different titles at once, or is it the same studio every
different
Because
developers?
they've got people working
different
on
teams.
Remake 2, right? As well. Remake Part 2.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you got one team doing Kingdom Hearts, another team doing Final Fantasy VII Remake, another team doing Final Fantasy 14, the MMO, and then you got other team doing 15.
Yeah, Square has a lot of, even within Kingdom Hearts itself, there's 3 different teams right now. So they have a lot of teams.
Yes.
They're actually geniuses because by making it an anthology series, they've created their own cash cow that they don't ever have to worry about it going stale or anything like that.
Yeah. And
because it's always different.
And they have mobile games, and there's the strategy ones too. So
yeah.
I'm not. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm not that sorry, I'm not that invested into like, you know, Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy and whatnot, but I find it ironic that Final Fantasy is more of an anthology series that doesn't really have to, you know, rely on continuity as much, and then you have the Kingdom Hearts series, which relies so heavily on continuity that people are basically lost without playing each and every installment, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, except for 7. 7 has its own chronological games. It has Crisis Core, and it has Dirge of Cerberus, and it has the movie.
That's because Tetsuya Nomura is behind it.
7 is the most popular by far, and it's not even close.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still waiting for a PS4 or PS5 remaster of Crisis Core. I don't know what they're waiting for.
You don't want a remaster of. You don't want a remaster of the Dirge?
I would take that too. Yeah, but I want Crisis Core first.
Okay.
Because I love Zack. Zack's my favorite character.
I'm looking forward to a remaster of Final Fantasy VII Remake where they make the NPCs PS3 NPCs instead of PS2 NPCs. That'll be great.
I don't get that one.
Oh, sorry. Some of the NPCs look really janky. They look really outdated. I don't actually care. Okay. It's kind of a common joke. So I was just joking that they're going to go from PS2 to PS3.
Yeah.
Like the NPCs.
I just want a coherent story. Because they went crazy at the ending.
I love the ending.
Spoilers. Yeah. No, I like the ending as well.
No, I liked it. This is weird. Anyway.
Maybe I don't have a frame of reference. I've not played the original, so.
It's Nomura. Yeah.
It's Nomura.
Yeah.
I mean, Kingdom Hearts is really... I think the story is really not hard to follow if you play it in chronological order. But the problem was the games came out in random weird order. So, like, if you skipped Chain of Memories and went right from 1 to 2, you would have been totally lost, like most people were. But if you played all 3 in a row, it's not a problem.
It's a little better now that they have the PS4 and the Xbox collections, and basically the way that they advise you to play, like the top-down menu that they give you is the order that you should be playing it anyway. So it's better now, but it used to be a freaking nightmare for Kingdom Hearts fans or anybody who wanted to get into the series. It's a little
what's the? Can you give me the order, like really quick? Is it Birth by Sleep first?
Are you actually being serious?
Yeah, I am actually. Birth by Sleep is the first one.
Yeah, so you should basically play in release date order, but vaguely, or not vaguely, but so start with Kingdom Hearts 1, go into Chain of Memories, then you go to Kingdom Hearts 2, then you go to the 365 over 2 or whatever, and then you go to Recoded.
You can skip that one.
What's that?
You can skip that one.
Well, you can skip Recoded. I'm just saying that's the order.
Yeah.
I'm not saying in the games. I don't remember the exact order. But after Recoded, you would probably go to Birth by Sleep, and then you would go to Dream Drop, 0.2. No, not 0.2. You'd probably go to Back Cover, and then 0.2.
Yeah.
And then Kingdom Hearts 3. Probably.
Yeah, when you say point, you mean like 2.8 or whatever with Aqua?
Well, 0.2 is the little demo they had with Aqua, where it was a 2-hour game, and
that's what I mean. Yeah, that order sounds pretty right to me. Actually, I agree with that list.
Cool.
That order. Anyway, so let's move on because we'll talk about Kingdom Hearts for 40 minutes.
Sure.
I know I will. So.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so 2 games are coming out for the PS5. They're getting a free update. First of all, Maneater's coming to PS5. It's getting a 4K 60 frames per second version. It has ray tracing and it has DualSense support. So that's pretty awesome.
Interesting. I wonder what the DualSense support will be like on that.
I haven't played it yet, so
a fight like on the human victims.
Yeah.
Makes you feel like a shark, you know? That's right. It really makes you feel like a shark.
Yeah. And Borderlands 3 is coming to PS5. It's getting a free upgrade. It's also going to be 4K 60 frames per second for the single player, and it's adding a 3 to 4 player like local multiplayer split screen mode, which which I don't really care for, but
I don't know how it's going to work.
Leave that in the 90s. Leave that in the 90s.
Yeah, I just don't know how 4-player split screen in a game like Borderlands it's going to work, because it's very,
they've done that. They've done that with all of them.
Yes, they did.
Well, yeah, but it's like it's very UI intensive. Like you kind of need to have all of the UI and whatnot on screen, and if you compress that into like a quarter of the size, depending on like the size of screen you have, if you shrink it down to a quarter of the size, it could easily just become super cluttered. So
the answer is simple, Mitch. Just get a bigger telly.
Oh yeah, why didn't I figure that? I don't even know.
Well, how big is your telly?
The TV we have in my house is about 65-inch.
Quit bragging. Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't play on it regularly though. I don't. I've got like a much smaller, like 40-inch or whatever. Maybe not even. So.
A much smaller 40-inch. Yeah.
But the TV behind me, the TV behind me is 55.
60. Yeah.
4K HDR.
Yeah.
TV is. Look, I can't get over the fact that Maneater's getting a PS5 upgrade. Like, who the heck needed the Shark game?
Me, I haven't played it yet. So
I haven't played it either.
Has anyone played it?
Is it a free upgrade? Because I bought it. I just haven't played it. Okay, good.
That's right. Yeah. These are all. Both of them are free upgrades if you own the game already.
So weird to me. I mean, maybe it'll play a little better. I don't know. I heard it was like a very average game. I do love sharks, so I mean, I was tempted.
Yeah, it looks
to
like a fun game where you just jump right. You know what I mean? It's nothing special.
Like a podcast game, honestly.
Yeah. Borderlands 3, I actually haven't played yet. I have it on PS4, so I might just wait now. Because
fun game.
I heard I heard there's problems with the game. Like, it didn't run really well.
Yeah.
I didn't have any. I'm on a PS4 Pro, but I didn't have any.
I did too.
Issues.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the biggest problems I have with it are just the writing, because the story does not.
God. Oh god. But listen, I think I liked the characters. Not to turn this into a Borderlands 3 review, but I actually like the characters more than most. I think the worst thing about the writing is the humor. It's really shallow and bad. Especially so people hate Claptrap, right? In previous games, I've actually I've not found him as annoying as other people have. Yeah. But in Borderlands 3, he is intolerable. Every time he says something in Borderlands 3, I get the urge to turn off my PlayStation and throw out the window.
I thought it was the chick that everybody hated. Like, they found her really annoying.
Which one?
The main bad guy or whatever.
Oh, Tyrene.
People couldn't stand her, I heard.
I'm not a fan of the whole evil live streamers thing.
It's cringy.
I think that's a bad attempt at humor, but yeah, I mean it has its charms, right?
Yeah. The live streamer idea could have had potential, but I think the way that they did it felt very Gen Y in how they did it. Like, you could tell that they didn't have a full grasp on like what actual internet memes are. Because it's like they basically they play memes, and it was literally just like funniest home videos edits or whatever, and not it was like, what am I watching?
That's what Borderlands sort of is at this point. It's just meme humor, right?
And
it's very outdated meme humor. Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that I'm not really a big fan of Randy Pitchford and Gearbox at all. Can't stand him.
I don't think anyone is.
That guy's a scumbag.
I think, Randy Pitchford is much better at losing USB sticks than he is at being a good human being, it seems.
Yeah. But my favorite videos my favorite Jim Sterling videos is when he does a Randy Pitchford video.
Yeah,
he can't stand him.
Like 5
yeah, he does. Yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, we got to start moving on. All right.
I'm going to get my Medieval Times membership revoked if I keep talking like this.
So we kind of already hit on this a little bit, but so the Spidey PS4 to PS5, it's a free upgrade, of course. But the remastered, let me correct myself. Miles Morales is a free upgrade from PS4 to PS5, but the Spider-Man PS4 cannot be upgraded to get the PS5 version. You have to buy the new Ultimate Edition, and the saves don't carry over either. So you got to look at it as its own game. It's a PS5 remaster of Spider-Man. But my question is, we already knew that, but my question is, are we going to see that more with other PS4 games? Are we going to see The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima as remasters, and they're going to charge you like $20 to play them?
Yes. Yeah, I mean they're gonna make you pay for the remastered version because there's the port. You can play the port if you own the PS4 version. You like not the port, sorry, the backwards compatibility version. But I mean they made you pay for The Last of Us Remastered again.
Yeah,
so,
but I think it's different this time.
Didn't they release that like a year and a half after the originals released though, or
a year and a half? I'm not sure.
Maybe like a year and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, they're still putting work into that game. After the game's been made, they're still putting work into it to remaster it. They need to recoup, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's different this time because when The Last of Us Remastered came out, nobody really. PS3 was Sony's worst console, and a lot of people were on Xbox, so a lot of people didn't play The Last of Us. And but in this environment right now, everybody's doing free upgrades, so it's a very bad look for Sony to like start charging people.
But those upgrades aren't remasters, right? They're just sort of they've added ray tracing and up the frame rate and that sort of thing.
But even Xbox is giving people free like improved versions of their games. It's not a good look.
Yeah, I just think remasters are a different beast, though.
They are, but how much better?
I don't feel like The Last of Us really needs another remaster on the PS5. I mean, it's just
I'd take it. I'd take it. I mean, they can remaster that game as many times as they want. I'll buy it every time.
I mean, I would buy it probably just to have a physical copy because I kick myself. I bought the digital deluxe edition, but I bought it digitally. I don't have anything to show for it. I don't usually care about that kind of stuff, but with Last of Us Part 2, I kind of care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, you guys, I know you guys all love The Last of Us, but would you guys, like, rebuy Ghost of Tsushima or something like that?
No.
For PS5?
I don't think so.
The game's too long.
I like that game quite a lot, but I don't think I'd do that.
I don't even think I can play The Last of Us again.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Mitch?
Sorry, what was that? I was gonna say I would buy Ghost of Tsushima on PS5, seeing as I haven't gotten it yet. But, my biggest question is like how much more they can do on either game on PS5. Like I'd say, Ghost of Tsushima could definitely benefit from ray tracing because that'll look
60 frames.
incredible.
Yeah, 60 frames makes a huge difference. I mean, someone on YouTube, somebody on YouTube slowed down The Last of Us Part 2 gameplay, and then they found a way. They did a cool editing trick to make it 60 frames per second, and it's so much better. Yeah, it's like night and day.
I remember a time on a podcast like a month or two back. I said, I don't really think we need like a 60 FPS update for Part 2. And then I watched that video and I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe we do. Yeah. Maybe we do.
yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
But but this, I mean, it's also different because obviously PS4 is the second highest selling console of all time. So everybody that wanted to play Last of Us Part 2 already played it. So it's probably not as a rush to give a remaster as much as the first one because obviously the user base is a lot bigger now. So
I think
that's fine.
Sorry, I was going to say, I think if they do end up, remastering Part 2 and have it sold as its own thing, I'd say that they'd either do like one or two things. They'd either have it at a cheaper price, or they'd either have it at full price and include the factions mode with it.
Yeah, I can see that, but
that's interesting.
I don't think not for $70.
I heard not for $70. Yeah,
that's too much for a remaster of a game like that. I think.
Honestly, though, like as far as I'm concerned, they can just leave it, and then in like 15 years have Bluepoint, remake the whole thing.
People would love that.
They're pretty good at that.
They are really good at that.
All right,
that's their thing. They've sort of dug themselves a niche.
Yeah. So speaking of Last of Us, they changed Outbreak Day obviously because the pandemic's going on to The Last of Us Day. So they revealed a couple of posters, which I didn't really care for, but there was cool artwork by Yoji Shinkawa. That Metal Gear Solid one. That's awesome.
I've got that as my desktop background right now.
Yeah, it's my iPad home lock screen.
It's freaking amazing. It's beautiful. But that's all I'm gonna sum up.
Yeah, so they did coffee cups and posters and shirts and everything guitars, but everything but giving us factions. So the comments were all so a lot of people were really disappointed in the comments, obviously.
The Last of Us Day this year did two things for me. The first thing it did was it made me buy an overpriced statue. And the second thing is it reminded me how much I love that fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
Just all like bringing back all the hype around it and everything. And like, even though there was obviously people on Twitter, shouting, dead game, rubbish game, it sucks, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sort of brought back all them feelings that I had when I played it, when I finished playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really liked I finally switched over. I'd had my background as the pre-order background, where there are drawings of different characters and they all change throughout, and they have like wonderful Last of Us music. I changed it to the beach one, basically, is what I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very pretty, very nice. It's got sound of waves and stuff. I'm thinking about changing my background to the multicolored one with all the characters in it. The one that you shared, Seb, I think.
Yeah.
So I might do that. Other than that, I mean, I guess we could also talk about the multiplayer.
Yeah, like we know they're working on something, like, but it's been over a year.
Yeah.
It's been almost a year now. So
Neil Druckmann put out a tweet saying he was sort of very ambiguous about it, but he didn't say specifically what it was. But he said, in terms of that thing that everyone is waiting for, or whatever, he just said, be patient.
I'd be surprised if we don't get it.
Was that yesterday you said that, or?
Yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I would assume it's still at least a year, maybe two away. The
only problem with it is it's not even entirely Naughty Dog's fault. Is that Sony's kind of been on a bad streak recently because they got caught lying, and pre-order chaos. This kind of adds on to the whole Sony's fucking up like problem right now, and this doesn't help at all. It's not Naughty Dog's fault, but it's kind of adding to it.
I guess it's kind of like a backwards. The whole pre-order chaos thing is kind of like a big ass backwards compliment, because it's like people are mad at Sony because their consoles are selling out, but besides a lack of stock, the main reason their consoles are selling out so damn quickly is because they have such a loyal and dedicated fan base.
Oh, for sure.
Like
the problem,
the
problem was they didn't give anyone a heads up. They kind of just threw like I made the analogy last week, throwing like meat into a piranha tank, and that's what happened.
That was a problem. Yeah, that wasn't good, but yeah.
But
other than that,
Xbox gave everybody a heads up, and they still had huge problems as well, which goes to show you that it doesn't matter how you do it, you're gonna have problems with pre-orders. It's just part of the pre-order chaos. There's no good way of doing it.
Yeah. I'd say at the same time, though, people weren't as harsh on Microsoft and Xbox, because, as you said, they gave a heads up, and like everyone, like, it felt more fair if you didn't miss out on pre-ordering it. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, I missed out on it, but that's because I just wasn't quick enough.
Yeah, I mean,
the heads up. Yeah,
it's also because people are kind of on the hate Sony bandwagon right now, just because people always live in the moment. Like, so as soon as like Sony buys a company or something, all the fanboys will come out and start talking shit. it's like Xbox's like momentum right now. So everything Sony does is kind of like under a microscope. We'll get into that pretty soon, but all right. So we start moving on. So Mass Effect Legendary Edition. So according to GamesBeat.com, apparently the only thing the game was supposed to come out this year, but apparently it's getting hold up because the first game is having a lot of problems. It's not meeting the standards of the other two.
I mean, it is a very dated game, gameplay wise. Yes, I'd say. So if they're like completely redoing the combat and gameplay, I'd say that'd be what.
Make it more like you, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's having issues with the visuals and the gameplay.
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me considering Andromeda, but yeah.
I'm very excited for the trilogy because I haven't played any of those games. Andromeda was my first Mass Effect game. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to play through those eventually whenever this does come out.
I was saying wow, more out of surprise than out of offense. I was just surprised. I was just truly surprised. But those games are awesome. Yeah. I would love to go back through them.
So we were supposed to get a reveal next month, but then it sounds like it's not happening now. but apparently it's gonna come. But they say it's gonna come out early. It's gonna come out early 2021. Go ahead.
Can we expect a reveal at the Game Awards then? I'd say that'd be like the best place they
I can
could
see that.
put it.
Do you think they've got those sort of reveals locked in by now, though?
No. I don't say they'd probably.
Well, I don't see why you would.
think I'd say like considering other shows in the past, like they'd try to get as many forced in, like as close as they can to the actual, publish date or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that was interesting. Like last year, they were going to do a Half-Life thing last year, and then that got pulled at the last minute, right?
That's true.
So
You never know.
I guess that was more on.
yeah, no, definitely on Valve's part there, but yeah, I guess things are sort of always in flux, right?
Yeah, I think that's the after doing a entertainment production course for a year, I've kind of become very wary of how last minute changes to a show plan or whatever can absolutely screw up the entire thing. Yeah, but I don't envy Jeff Keighley and everyone who works on things like the game show or the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he works on that thing for 6 months straight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So Mass Effect 3, they said Mass Effect 3 is not going to have a multiplayer because it would make it seem like a live service game. They don't want to do that. They don't seem like it's worth the investment. They would rather focus on Apex, something like that. EA, I mean, not BioWare.
Yeah.
So they'll probably put them all in a package, like a downloadable package. Maybe they'll sell them all separately, $20 each, or maybe.
I'd say after Anthem, this is definitely hopefully it's going to be BioWare's sort of redemption arc. Because, I mean, they're still working on Anthem 2.0, but I don't think they're going to win over many people.
Honestly, I would start saying your prayers for BioWare because I don't think they're going to be around much longer.
No, but I'd say this is like the safe way for them to go
Maybe.
for like their next project.
Yeah.
Do a remaster of their
if this goes well for them, I mean, I could sell it. I could see it selling really, really well for them.
Hopefully. That would be a real shame.
As long as they don't have Prince of Persia Sands of Time level reveal, then I'd say they'd be good.
Oh God, don't remind me. Don't put that in my head.
Yeah.
That was a disaster. I was so disappointed. All right.
Yeah.
Next topic. That's pretty much all the news for Mass Effect. So early 2021. So that sounds like something that would be like good time for January or February. Big.
I think February, March makes sense.
Yeah, because there's nothing really coming out at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, you want to slip something like that out between the cracks, right?
Yeah. So, Metal Gear Solid Remake is a rumor. Obviously, there's nothing concrete, but apparently, according to our YouTube channel, Red Gaming Tech, and I'm getting this off Push Square. Obviously, this could be complete bullshit, but you never know. Apparently, they've been accurate on some leaks, but according to the source, there's going to be our full remake. That's not like a port or a remaster. It's a full remake. And they're also doing a remaster of 2, 3, and 4. Which is pretty cool. That would be awesome because I haven't played any of those in a long time. But the thing is, obviously, Konami owns the IP, so I don't know how that would work. But there's been rumors that Sony's been working with Konami behind the scenes. Obviously, with Silent Hill, it had a lot of smoke to it. Obviously, we're probably not getting that, but there's something to that.
Yeah,
these rumors keep popping up.
What this tells me, if it's happening, is that it's not Bluepoint doing the Metal Gear Solid remake like people maybe were speculating a while ago.
Right.
Which means it's Konami doing it. Yeah. Which means it'll probably suck because Konami has had their issues with this sort of thing in the past, right?
Yeah, but apparently the rumor with Silent Hill was that Studio Japan was working on it. Sony's Japan Studios, whatever it's called. So maybe they would be working on the remake. That's a strong possibility. So
are you telling me that Kojima may be making new Metal Gear with
Kojima Productions? Yeah, because they're going into kind of another topic, but Sony, we've all heard the reports that Sony's really interested in making these third-party deals and stuff. So Sony might really be giving Konami a boatload of money to get an IP.
I'd say especially. Yeah, that's fair enough. I'd say especially after this week's news with Microsoft and Bethesda, I'd say Sony would be more interested than ever to try and lock in some third-party deals.
The thing is, Konami's like word shit now because Konami is...
Yeah. Konami probably isn't the best direction to go.
They like pachinko machines.
Yeah, I'd say they're just going after the IPs.
Yeah, the IPs.
Yeah.
It's very popular. Go ahead.
If there was a sign for Konami on the road, I would head in the exact opposite direction.
Yeah,
like,
Konami's
I'd rather get BioWare than Konami right now.
Yeah, Konami pisses me off.
Yeah.
It's just incompetent, whereas Konami is just flat out.
Yeah. I'll save this. I'll save this for when we get into the Bethesda stuff. But so I'll wait on for that one. So let me move on to apparently the UI for the PS5, the patent got leaked, or not leaked, but I guess it was online or something. It looks pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of hard to show on a podcast. So, but
I don't want to see that. That's the PS5 UI.
Apparently there's a lot of smoke to getting a whole console reveal in a couple weeks because people in Japan and stuff are actually getting the actual hardware and they're sending it to YouTubers and stuff in Japan and things.
Travis Scott fucking
he has the controller. People probably already have it. So apparently we're gonna get a lot. We're gonna be getting a lot of reveals in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
I'm pissed.
I'd say it's the. I mean, what? Because I've a couple of I think it's Ryan McCaffrey posted on Twitter. He had the actual Series X in his house.
They sent out Series X units to like Jeff Keighley and a bunch of other people.
Yeah, people have had that for a while now.
Well, what they had before was the a model unit, but now they have the actual unit.
Yeah, which is weird because PlayStation's we're a few weeks away and no one's had their hands on it yet. We've yet to see a physical version of the console. That's
the thing as well. Travis Scott, he put up an Instagram post of him holding the controller, saying, I'm going to be playing this till the sun comes up or something like that. And there was no console in sight. It was just the controller, which, okay, fair enough. But it was also just a white screen on the TV. Okay, maybe he's not allowed to show the UI. But it makes me think, maybe they just sent him a controller and told him to put that out. Because, I mean, they sent Jeff Keighley a controller, right?
Yeah.
So...
He probably just signed you can't do anything yet. I'm forgetting the name of it.
Grab the camera and just motion here it is, it's right here.
That's basically what Jeff Keighley did with the DualSense controller thing. Though, was this is the controller. I'm playing the game on screen right now. Wow, I feel the sand. The
maybe
look at this.
Maybe they're doing a commercial with Travis Scott because Sony likes to do things like that. Like college football just started up and it says PlayStation 5 presents. So PlayStation likes to use mainstream artists or something in American media. So he's probably gonna do a commercial or something.
I was about to say they should get Banksy to do a little PS5 artwork, but I'd say that doesn't align whatsoever with Banksy's morals and sort of.
Yeah.
That reminds me that Ubisoft did that trailer for Ghost Recon Breakpoint with some rapper. I can't remember who it was. But it was really fucking weird. I think I don't know. Do you guys remember that or
no? I don't.
Vaguely. I mean, I've kind of erased Breakpoint from my memory. So.
Hang on, let me see.
So while he looks it up, so they also showed the VR controllers, the new PSVR2, whatever you call it.
Yeah, I saw the patent for that. Yeah.
It looks modern. Looks like Oculus controllers. Pretty cool.
That's the thing. It's because I just recently got a PlayStation VR myself, and
finally,
the controllers I'd say they're pretty bulk they're the PlayStation Move controllers. But it's for VR, they feel it's definitely weird not having an actual analog stick or anything.
Yeah, it feels cheap.
VR. Yeah, like playing what Resident Evil 7 in VR. You literally have to use a controller. You can't use any of the move controls.
Yeah. So who's
anything? So
who's the rapper?
Yeah, so it was Lil Wayne they did that trailer with, and it's really weird. It's basically like it's a bunch of people doing like live action version of the game where they're like they've got the guns and everything, but you can just hear like Lil Wayne and his friends like speaking through their mouths. It's really fucking
Which
weird.
is weird because I don't know Lil Wayne's not. I don't think he's as popular anymore.
Yeah,
he was my favorite artist in high school. No, I don't think he's the same.
I think that's what made it weird at the time because people sort of had forgotten about him.
Because he got.
I think the last time I heard of I think the last time I heard of Lil Wayne was on the Suicide Squad movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
Of all things.
He drank the purple drink and he went to the hospital and then he almost died and he hasn't really done much since. Anyway, good. I'm getting off topic.
Anyways, yeah.
We're having very interesting asides this podcast.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. So we're probably gonna get a reveal pretty soon, in a couple of weeks. And then we're gonna finally see the UI. I'm really curious because one thing I'm really hoping for is we were able to record gameplay in 4K like Xbox does. Like Xbox can let you record games in 4K at 60 frames per second.
I just hope that you'll be able to record gameplay in 1080p at least, because as it stands, you guys who have regular PS4s cannot, which is a pain in my ass.
No, don't look at me. I have Pro. But like at least do 1440. You just no way you can do 1080p. It's 2020. Like consoles are pretty strong. If PlayStation does 1080p recording on a PS5, that'd be a massive disappointment. There's no excuse that they can't at least do 1440, 60 frames.
I'm sure they can think of some excuse.
Plus, I want to know how they do the like how Xbox lets you like you can like turn a game off and like it will save where it is and then you can switch between games with no issue. I hope PS5 does something on that. That's
cool. They haven't said anything about that for PS5, which makes me think they're not going to do it.
Yeah, but we haven't got anything on the UI at all. So everything's up for grabs right now. We don't know what the themes are going to look like. We don't know what anything.
That's the thing.
Totally
like with the Xbox Series X, they've said that the UI is going to be the exact same. They're not going to change it.
Yeah.
Which, if I was on Xbox, that would disappoint me because that sort of takes away a lot of the feeling of it being a brand new console.
I agree. Even the controller is the same, pretty much.
Yeah. So
I agree.
What are you talking about, Seb? What are you talking about? They added one button to the controller.
Yeah, the record button.
Yeah, man, they added like textures to the buttons and stuff.
But like at the same time, if it's not broke, you don't have to fix it. It's fine.
Yeah.
But
the controller I can give a pass. It's just that UI though.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for a good UI.
Yeah, the PS5 UI, the patent looks like PS4, just a little more updated. Like it looks like it has the environment on the bottom or something like in the background. It's hard to explain. I would have to show you the picture.
That's the thing. Like I don't want to. I know that it's going to get shown off before release, but I would rather not see it. I would rather see it for the first time when I boot up my PS5.
Yeah,
it would be fun. Yeah,
that'd be tough.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
It's not gonna have it, but I miss the days of like a badass intro for the console load up. Like the PS1 and the PS2 are like so iconic, and then ever since the PS3, it's been kind of
the PS3, this has been kind of weak. It's been sort of very faint.
Yeah, the PS4 like puts me to sleep. It's like very relaxing.
I mean, to be fair though, the PS2 intro gave me more, and like much more anxiety than any other logo intro ever.
PS2.
Yeah, the PS2, like depending on whether the disc actually worked or not.
Yeah, especially when the disc didn't work and you got the red screen. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like you're just like praying to God. It's like please.
That takes me back.
Similar to what Mitch has right now in his little box. It's actually an exact copy of the red screen from PS2.
Oh, that reminds me. I had Kingdom Hearts 2 and the disc got scratched, and it took me 3 hours to. I had to wash it. I washed the disc. I scrubbed the hell out of it. I did everything I could to get it working. I started banging on my PS2 like I did everything, and I finally got it to work. But it was like I was so desperate to.
A tale of tragedy and triumph.
Seb tales, yeah. All right. So next topic is Jim Ryan's like interview. He said so basically they actually were considering doing a weaker console to complement the PS5, like the Series S, but they decided it wasn't really worth doing. Because people they don't think it's a strategy that's gonna really work. It's gonna be obsolete. People are just gonna prefer the higher model. So, what do you guys think? Do you think that's a wise decision?
I can't speak to whether it's a wise decision, but it definitely makes sense. Like, I was super surprised to hear that the Series S was actually less powerful than the Series 8. Like, well, okay, kind of not surprised considering the size of it, but it's like you'd think that you'd think it'd be exactly like the PS5 where they have the regular edition and then they'd have just the digital only edition. Like they'd be basically like hardware wise minus the disc drive, they'd be the same console and hardware.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Ryan said one thing that can be said is if you look at the history of the game business, creating a special low-priced, reduced-spec console is something that has not had great results in the past. We've considered that option and seen other executives who have attempted to discover how problematic it is. Like, what does he mean? Like, what's done that in the past that didn't work?
That's the thing. I don't really.
I mean, the closest I can think is like the PS3 Slim or something like that. Is he saying that that experiment didn't go well for them or something?
Yeah, I can't think of an example.
The Slim wasn't a less powerful console, though.
Well, no, I know. That's why I said it's the closest thing I can think of.
Maybe the PS4 Slim, because the Slim was weaker than the Pro.
Is he talking about like exclusively PlayStation, like things they've done?
I mean, I can't even think of a Nintendo console or Xbox console that was weaker.
They did have a couple of years back. They had the Xbox One S all digital console.
That's only one.
That pretty much. Yeah. That's the
Xbox One sad.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is because they kept the Xbox One, the original, out there for a while to complement the S, but it didn't work at all. But I don't think that's because it was a bad strategy. I think it was just because no one was really buying Xboxes this generation because Xbox had such a lousy generation. I don't think it really has to do with it.
I think that and the fact that they put out a brand new console at a time where they weren't bringing out any more games, kind of like, everyone was like, well, why should I buy this? Like, yeah. But I don't like. I understand their reasoning in the fact that like, why, not rip customers off, but it's like, why charge less? Like, why make people buy a less powerful console for less when we can just give them a console that's just as powerful, but just, cheaper and without a disk drive? Yeah, because I think.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'd say majority, at least majority of the people I know would go for the regular edition because, not everyone wants to fully transition over to digital yet. But, if digital's the way for you, then absolutely, you're set because it's the PS5 just digital and cheaper. Yeah. So I'd say it's out for them. Yeah.
But he says, based on our research, it's clear that people who buy a game console want to continue using it for 4 or 5, 6 years, or even 7 years. So they want to believe that they have bought something that is future-proofed and not something to be outdated in 2 to 3 years. Which kind of implies that maybe we're not getting a PS5 Pro. I mean, you never know, but it kind of seems that way.
They would do that. They would put out a PS5 Pro.
Weird not to get too political, but when you're in a system like capitalism, which often runs on things being obsolete after a few years, it seems weird to try to have things future-proof.
Yeah, but the thing is, the PS4 to PS5 is such a big jump. Like, you really don't need to do a Pro version, I don't think, right? Like, two more teraflops.
We thought that with the 3 to 4 those.
I know I'm a person who doesn't really care for. Like, I don't really care if games have the highest quality of graphics or whatever. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have been bothered if we didn't even get a PS5 in some ways. Like, I'm pretty happy with PS4 and where it's at in terms of graphics and stuff. I mean, there's minor nitpicks I could say, but, like, I'm pretty satisfied with where games are graphics wise these days.
It's understandable, but it's 2020. It's time to move on to 60 frames. Like, that's so outdated now. Yeah, like,
just don't matter to me. I don't care.
Yeah, the graphics are not going to be huge jumps this generation. It's all about the performance and how fast things load and things like that.
Yeah, I mean the lower loading screens.
The frame rate. Yeah, and the frame rate. You're not going to see.
Yeah.
Games can only get so much better. So.
Yeah.
You guys have anything more to add for this, or?
Not really.
Yeah. Okay. So we were gonna talk about the Tokyo Game Show, but obviously it was a huge dud. Nothing really happened. There's and if there's some things, but like no one here is a Monster Hunter fan, or you're not like really fighting game fans.
I mean, Monster Hunter, they have a zip wire thing now, right? Yeah. All right.
I remember what Seb, we were both watching the Capcom stream last night for me, and we were like both just sort of saying it's like in the chat, like, are they seriously revealing a pencil case?
Yeah, right.
And,
a statue.
Like the Capcom. Yeah, no, but like the Resident Evil thing was terrible. They literally just made a more condensed version. Yeah, they ran the same thing twice.
Yep.
And except the second time they just made it shorter and gave us less information.
Yeah, that Dante statue was like had sweat, like it was so detailed. I'm like, that thing's more expensive than my car probably. Yeah. Like I'm not buying that for 10 grand.
Honestly, I think like you usually see people like really good looking statues and memorabilia like that. And you're like, wow, that's so cool, man. If I see like anyone I know with that like half-size statue, I'd be going like, "What are you doing, man? That's like
statues are so overpriced. Anyway. Yeah. I mean, I have a couple, but mine were pretty cheap.
I know they showed off some like gameplay and footage for Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, but it's not like anything that we hadn't seen before.
Right.
I did see one kind of like Kingdom Hearts YouTuber saying that that he is actually glad about that because with 3 and with I think with 3 anyway, they gave away and Final Fantasy VII Remake, they gave away a lot with the trailers and stuff like that. That was his perspective anyway. So I don't know. Some people might see it as a good thing. I don't know. I didn't really watch it because it was weird time zone stuff. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
I was gonna say it seems to be it seems to be like a trend with Japanese based games, like what you had Metal Gear Solid 5 and Death Stranding. Their trailers seem to like often reveal a lot of plot points and big moments in the trailers, whereas like with more like Western games, it seems to be, depending on the game, it seems to be very hush hush and like, okay, we're going to keep all the spoilers to a minimum and not spoil the experience. Whereas Japan's like, yeah, no, we'll just put everything in there to like have everyone be excited and hyped up. Which I mean, I guess it's really just an interesting different shift in cultural attitudes and perspectives, I guess you can say.
Did I just freeze up?
Hmm?
There you go. Okay. Yeah, like the Kingdom Hearts is getting a demo next month, so maybe I'll try that. But
do you know if the demo, it's not like Crash, right? You can actually download the demo without buying the game, or
not sure on that actually.
Right, well, for those sort of games, Square Enix does. They usually put up demos publicly.
Yeah.
They put one up for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
It's publicly available. You're right. So.
Yeah.
And for Kingdom Hearts 3 and for
right. So I'm stoked. Okay, hopefully I can try Melody Memory and hopefully I'll actually like it enough to spend money.
Basically,
I'm not actually super excited for it. So
yeah. So basically, 4 stories from Tokyo Game Show that are relevant to us is they showed Nier Replicant, but I don't think they showed gameplay. I think it was just a trailer. But it's a remake of the first game, I believe.
They showed some brief gameplay clips. Like, it wasn't live gameplay. It was just some B-roll, but I think they showed, like, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't really recall.
Yeah.
So Resident Evil 8 is going to maybe be on the PS4 as well. Mm-hmm. Maybe. They said maybe.
I find it funny that that was like the big new piece of information that dropped in TGS. Like, okay, we might be doing it on PS4. We might. It's not. We're not confirming it, but we might.
Yeah, and then Resident Evil, like they're doing a movie on Netflix. And that's basically it. Like that's
the CG series. Yeah.
Yeah, like number 4.
That looks really weird because it's like animated and everything. It looks very close to the game's graphics.
Have you not seen the other 3?
No, I'd say
this is the 4th one.
Oh, they've already done the series with this
since for like last 15 years.
Yeah. Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, Leon's in all of them. That's why I keep saying Leon's in them.
Right.
Yeah. So. All right. So let's get into the big topic of the show, which is Bethesda Zenimax getting bought by Microsoft. Obviously, that was a game changer in the whole industry.
Yeah, I mean, some of the biggest news in years.
What was it, $7.5 billion?
$7.5 billion. Which, as the measurement that everyone else is giving, Disney bought Star Wars for $4 billion.
Yeah.
So that's almost twice as much.
Which I do think George Lucas could have got more for that, but I think he trusted Disney more than anyone, so he just like take it. But yeah, like now this has a profound effects on not just the industry, but like on us, obviously, because it's a strong possibility that none of us are going to ever be able to review or ever get to play Doom or Wolfenstein or Fallout again on a PlayStation platform. But do you guys think it's going to be exclusive to Xbox or PC?
I think there's evidence heading both ways.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the wording in like Phil Spencer's sort of statement that he put out about it sort of led me to believe that they were going to keep like games in the future as exclusives. But then the fact that like Bethesda's still going to be publishing makes me think like they're still going to have publishing control, makes me think that they will do cross platforms. I think there's a strong possibility it'll be a case-by-case basis. A lot of delayed exclusives, like timed exclusives, I should say.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could go either. Like, I think they would be very happy just having those games on Game Pass day one because they can say, yeah, you can pay 70 quid for these games on PS5, or you can get an Xbox and play them day one for £10 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say,
go ahead, Mitch.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
I'd say that at the very least, they'd at least be like on Game Pass. I think that's a definite. I think assume that they'd be on Game Passing as that's the thing Microsoft are pushing. But I'd say that they'd probably have them cross-platform or at least timed exclusives because it just having all the Bethesda games be Xbox console exclusives permanently seems to really go against their more consumer-friendly practices as of late. Like it wouldn't really make sense if they go, we've got a whole thing now is we're going to be more open and willing to give to the customer instead of take. Except for this, these Bethesda fellas, we're just going to hold all their games and IPs hostage on our console forever. Like doesn't seem like something Microsoft would do.
Yeah. What do you think, Dory?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Xbox is a lot more selective about their exclusives, and I just don't think that that's the emphasis that they're really putting on with their consoles these days. I mean, even Halo isn't really an exclusive. It's also on PC. I mean, I know PC's owned by Microsoft, but like it's still not exclusive to one console, and that's like their flagship. So I just don't know that we have to worry about that. I mean, honestly, if we did like lose Bethesda and it was only Xbox and PC, like I still wouldn't be that broken up because like it's Bethesda. But it is interesting that they do now have Obsidian and Bethesda, which is very strange because they could. Some people are saying, well, now they can make New Vegas too, or now I don't know, there can be cross pollination between those teams. I don't know how that would work though. That I can't imagine they're on good terms. I mean.
Yeah, do you think they're gonna combine a couple of the studios together and work on like a project together, or do you think they're gonna keep them separate?
I don't know. I bet they'll keep them separate. I mean, I bet Outer Worlds 2 will just largely be made by former Bethesda people, but it is very strange that Microsoft bought up Obsidian and people are like, oh, okay, it's to compete with Bethesda. And then they're like, no, we're going to buy Bethesda too. And it's like, okay, like weird flex, but okay.
The thing is, like, did they really pay $7.5 billion to put their games on PlayStation though? Like, because the thing is, Sony and Xbox fans are always going at it, but like, so PlayStation fans have always said Xbox should be more cutthroat and really compete with Sony. They think Microsoft, they don't buy the kumbaya act that they always push. Well, this is an aggressive move. You can't get any more aggressive than this.
Well, the thing is, like, you have to sort of, I think a lot of people have been saying, like, this is a Game Pass move primarily. Exactly. This isn't a taking things away from Sony move. This is to bolster Game Pass and get the Elder Scrolls and Doom and Fallout and Dishonored and what have you on Game Pass day one. So I don't think putting the games out on PlayStation affects that really.
Yeah, but like, I can understand that, like, they make more money putting it on PlayStation as well, because obviously there's a big user base. But at the same time, you like keeping those games exclusive to your Game Pass service. You make people very tempted to subscribe to play those games. You know what I mean? Like, the ecosystem is more important than anything else.
Consider this then, right? The only reason really to make the games exclusive would be to get people to buy Xbox consoles
or PC.
But do they care?
Or get Game Pass on PC. They don't care about where you get it. Just
the only reason they keep it off of PlayStation is to get people to buy Xbox. But do they care that much about people buying Xbox at this point?
I don't think they care about Xbox. I think they care about the service. There's a lot of PC guys that are going to be getting Game Pass for these games.
But like, people aren't going to buy. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that they can still have Game Pass do really well, because I mean, they announced that they had gone from 10 million subscribers to 15 million subscribers in 6 months, 4 months, even 4.5 months.
Yeah,
and like, which is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So I mean, this move is just gonna further that exponentially.
Of course, that's what I mean. Like, I think they care, but people are, and they're being vague on purpose, obviously. But from what I think, Phil Spencer's words, case by case basis just means games that are already on PlayStation, like Elder Scrolls Online, where you can't take it off because they make a lot of money on it because it's an MMO and stuff like that. But I can see certain games coming to PlayStation, but I think like any game like Starfield and any Elder Scrolls 6 or anything like that, that's not. I don't think that has any chance of coming to PlayStation.
Yeah, I see that big, hallmark titles like Starfield and
it's like 3 years.
6. I see big. If anything, I see them being exclusives. But like, I think Arcane Studios and Tango Gameworks, like those type of titles, I see them being on PlayStation.
Xbox wants you to be part of their ecosystem, and PlayStation is not part of their ecosystem. So I could see games being on PlayStation, but I'm leaning on that they're going to be exclusive. I have no expectations that we're going to.
It's interesting to wonder, like, they would have Game Pass on PlayStation if Sony would allow it, I'm sure. Yeah, but obviously Sony's not going to want it on there because that's money in Xbox, that's money in Microsoft's pocket.
No, well, it's also because Sony would have to get a piece of the profit, because Sony would be kind of screwing over third-party games, because third-party would be on Game Pass. And they would rather you buy it on the PlayStation Store, not on Game. They don't want you playing on Game Pass. You know what I mean? So that's I think that's the biggest reason why Game Pass is not on PlayStation, because they want you to buy it from their store. They don't make any money if you're getting a game on Game Pass on PlayStation. And Microsoft doesn't want Sony to get a piece of the profit from Game Pass. So, but maybe that does happen down the road. But I can imagine, but that would take a lot of negotiating. But you never know. But I don't.
You know what is really what we need to bring up as well, right? Mm-hmm. Is like the timing. I mean, they announced this move a day before Xbox pre-orders went live.
Right.
That's not by coincidence.
Of course.
Like they they did that to get people in a frenzy to go, oh, maybe I need to pre-order an Xbox now that all my favorite Bethesda games are going to be, because like they were vague about exclusivity deliberately because they want people to wonder, like, are they going to make it exclusive? Maybe I should pre-order an Xbox just to be safe. Or maybe have people assume.
And what people don't realize is this has been in the works for the last 2 to 3 years. Bethesda has been really struggling financially, and if Microsoft basically saved them, because they were probably getting close to firing people and closing studios down, because their games have not sold very well. I don't think Doom Eternal lived up to the expectations in terms of sales. I think Prey bombed. Fallout 76 was a disaster. I think Rare 2. I don't think Rare 2. I don't think Rage 2 sold very well. Wolfenstein and Youngblood didn't sell well. They've been struggling recently, and I think they were very close to closing down. There was even a rumor that Sony was looking to purchase either IPs from them or to buy the studio themselves. But I don't. There's no proof of that. But apparently, they've been talking to both companies, looking to get purchased at some point. So this has been in the talks for quite a while. Obviously, you don't make a $7.5 billion move at the last minute. This has obviously been in the works for quite a while. But the thing is, though, does this? Do you guys think like Sony is going to try to compete with Game Pass at some point, or you think Sony's going to stay traditional for the next 7 years, or you think they're starting to get really tempted to get in that market?
Jim Ryan's statements sort of answered that question for us, right? He said even somewhat recently that they have money in that for them.
But if a Game Pass gets like 30 to starts getting to 35, 40, 45, 50 million subscribers, you don't think, and like the way the industry is going right now, do you think Netflix of gaming is really starting to become the norm?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think Game Pass is on the up and up, right?
Yeah.
Like that is going to be a successful thing. Microsoft's going to make it a successful thing. But I can see where Jim Ryan's coming from in that maybe it's not the best move for Sony, who puts a lot more, like they make entirely different kinds of games from Microsoft. You know, like Sony makes obviously your God of Wars, your Last of Us, your Uncharted, right?
Yeah.
These sort of big, really extremely polished story games.
Right.
And I can imagine those are a lot more expensive to make than the stuff Xbox has their studios putting out.
Yeah, that's what Jim Ryan said. He thinks it's unaffordable for them. They wouldn't be able to put those expensive games on a subscription service.
Maybe they could make it sustainable at some point. Yeah. But they're not willing to they're not willing to run the race. Maybe they'll do it eventually when Game Pass is so successful and they can jump on the bandwagon. Yeah, because if Microsoft does put games on PS5, they could also say like, "Oh, our games here are $1. You get it for $1 through any promo or whatever." Meanwhile, you have to pay $70 on the PS5. So it's like a win-win marketing for Microsoft, no matter what. But Dory, what do you think? Do you think the subscription models are the future, or do you think it's just basically Microsoft on its own doing that?
I just don't see how Sony can ever catch up with Microsoft and the kind of lead that they have now. I'm not sure if it's a better. Obviously, I don't work in marketing and stuff. Yeah. There's good arguments that I should, but I don't know. There's arguments to be made that like Sony's just so far behind that it's better to just double up on things that they are doing well at than trying to dump a huge amount of resources into making PS Now and PlayStation Plus and all that stuff better. Not that I don't want it to be better, just that I don't know. I think that PS5 deal that we talked about last week, it really helps it get better, but I don't know that it's ever going to come close to what Game Pass has done for freaking 15 million people.
Yeah, right. What do you think, Mitch?
Mitch is not here right now, I'm afraid.
He's not?
Nope,
yeah,
he's to be back.
Oh, I didn't hear him. Yeah. Anyway, they could revamp PS Now, it could be better. They could put I guess obviously those Plus games coming to PS5 is a good start for free. Yeah. You can keep those games on PS Now and just keep them on there. Well, I don't know why you have to take them off in 3 months. I get why they're doing that, but you can definitely market PS Now better. I would change the name. I think that name has a bad. I think it has pretty forgettable name, and they don't advertise it at all.
It has negative connotations as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the thing is, I think it's just gonna be Microsoft only because I don't see Nintendo or Sony doing this because obviously Nintendo's games sell like hotcakes. I mean, did you see the numbers Animal Crossing put up this year? It's like 20-something million units or something.
I mean, that got mainstream appeal. So.
Yeah, and it helped with the pandemic because that's what everybody was playing in March. But
yeah,
still, Nintendo games sell like crazy good, and then PlayStation's right there.
When Danny Trejo's playing your game, you know you've got a hit.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They had like Elijah Wood on there, and like on Animal Crossing. It's pretty cool. Anyway, but Nintendo games sell crazy good anyway. Smash Brothers, Mario, they put up tons of numbers, and Sony's right there. Like I think Sony games at the best usually get like what 10 to 15 million copies. Generally,
yeah, some in that ballpark.
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense for PlayStation to do it right now, obviously, but it's possible though in the future subscription models are going to be maybe these companies, maybe like Game Pass really starts kicking off, maybe Sony and Nintendo start thinking like, oh, maybe we should try this, you know what I mean? And now you got Amazon and Google and all them trying to get their finger in the industry.
If there's one thing that Nintendo does not excel at, it's keeping up with the times.
That's true.
I mean, their online service is still not great in the year of our Lord 2020.
Yeah, this is more about Sony because Nintendo is they'll be doing this in 2040.
They're like, oh crap, subscription models. That's right. Why don't we crank that up for our Switch Pro revolution?
But like, do you think subscription models are good for the industry though? Like, do you think it hurts the companies, or do you think it's a long-term success to this, or do you think this is just a short-term?
It's the Netflix problem, right? Like in the long term, is this really helping the industry? I don't know the numbers. I presume Microsoft is not losing money on this like Netflix is, but I don't know.
You're right. Because I don't know how much profit Microsoft is making from Game Pass. Like
with Netflix, I mean, it's basically the Netflix subscription model, right? Or the Netflix model, I should say. And I mean, they're losing, as far as I know,
money,
billions of dollars, a year.
Yeah.
They're probably eventually going to go bankrupt, I would think. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, less and less people are subscribing to them. They have less and less original movies. But anyway, so I don't know. Short term, like I'd say, it's a really cool thing for consumers. But long term, I don't know if it's a wise investment. It just depends on how many people opt in and then buy video games otherwise.
Yeah, James, what do you think? Is it a long term? Is it a good thing long term?
I don't know because I don't know the I don't presume to know the numbers, from the inside.
Yeah,
like how it's doing for them, because I assume they're losing money on it. I assume that they're losing money on it, but that they hope to stop losing money on it at some point.
Right.
But whether they do or not, I don't know because I don't know how much it's costing them at the moment.
Yeah.
So I don't know what sort of numbers they would have to reach to make it profitable, to make it sustainable.
Yeah, because
there's too many unanswered variables.
Yeah, because Jim Ryan doesn't think it's sustainable. We'll see who's right down the road, but what do you think, Mitch? Is the subscription model sustainable?
I think for the I mean, as James said, I can't really presume to know how it affects companies and whatnot and their economy, but I think from a purely consumer point of view, it's a win and a loss. Like it really depends on if you're more convenience over just security of having your games in physical format, I guess, because on the one hand, of course, spending $10 a month to get hundreds of games, theoretically, rather than spending 6 to 10 times that amount just for one, of course people are going to go for the lesser amount. So I guess you have sustainability there, but I think that you run into problems as soon as games start getting erased from the service, and just if the games you have on your service are shit, then no one's gonna buy it. So really it's a constant tug of war between consumers actually buying into it, and then also developers and companies actually giving consumers a reason to buy into it. And as long as they aren't stingy with it, then I see it being, fairly sustainable, at least for the next 5 years.
Feel free. Feel free to let me know if this is stupid, but like I subscribe to Game Pass. I subscribe to Game Pass because I want that model to succeed. I don't use it every month. I don't like if I want it to be as cost effective as possible, I would unsubscribe and subscribe from it. So I subscribe to it, when I needed it. But I subscribe to it just in general because it's such a good model, especially for like the ability to discover new games that you wouldn't buy ordinarily. So I subscribe to it just so it doesn't fail.
That's the key. That's the key with Game Pass is like it's horrible for like if like Naughty Dog put Last of Us Part 2 right on the subscription service right off the bat, like $10 a month. Yeah, that would hurt them. But like for indies though, like Microsoft gives them a nice paycheck and they get nice financial security. They make more money on Game Pass than they would from selling it on their own.
That's the thing as well. I guess them more exposure, exactly. And like so of course, like you said, Sony is not going to be the same sort of fit for Sony because they're not as invested as in indie titles as Microsoft is because they're on top. Yeah, so they don't need to be.
Plus, Microsoft has a lot more service games. They have a lot more like Grounded and Sea of Thieves and
I mean, it's the same thing. It's the thing with like the PlayStation 3 generation, right? Mm-hmm. Like Sony was losing and they started getting weird with
the indies. Yeah,
they started putting out Journeys and and other stuff like that. So like Microsoft, obviously, because they're on the bottom, they're doing more stuff like this. They have more freedom to shift the formula.
Right. But thing is, though, like, personally for me, Game Pass is like, most of the games on there, like, PlayStation is my primary platform. And so, like, the third-party games on Game Pass have no appeal to me because I either already beat them or I just prefer to on the place. I mean, I already beat them on the PS4. And it's like, I don't feel like playing them again. So the only thing Game Pass appeals to me is like getting those exclusives day one, like Gears of War or Halo or something like that. So Game Pass for me, like I'll subscribe for a month, play a game I want to play, and then I just don't play it. I don't touch it. And so I think that's one of the consequences of Game Pass too, is they've just my concern with Game Pass has generally been that companies know they're getting a financial stability, so they don't really put like full effort, and then you kind of get like half-assed games, and as they call Game Pass fodder. You get Battletoads where it's just kind of like, oh, we know it's Game Pass, we know we're gonna get a paycheck. Hey, just throw it on there. Why not? You know what I mean? You don't get that same level of quality.
But at the same time, couldn't you make the argument for all first-party studios because they're still, they're under a publisher. They're gonna get a paycheck whether the game is good or bad.
Yeah, but Game Pass is like total security. You know what I mean? If the game sucks and fails, it doesn't matter because they got theirs. Now, if you're on your own, independent, I don't only mean first party. I just mean in general. If you're just a developer, if your game bombs and it sucks, you're in trouble. You know what I mean? Your companies go bankrupt all the time. Developers always close down. It happens all the time. You know what I mean? But when you have Game Pass, you got that Microsoft financial security. But at the same time, you can get away with a lot of these half-assed, not that good games. You kind of just thrown on there. You know what I mean? Because I feel like Xbox games is still. This has changed now because Bethesda is a quality company, but a lot of their games, like exclusive, have not been that great. I mean, Bleeding Edge didn't do well. Grounded hasn't really. I mean, they have their audience, but it's not. It hasn't been. That hasn't like really been huge with people. You know what I mean? It hasn't put up monster numbers.
This whole conversation has made me like look at Game Pass, at my Game Pass, because I am signed up for it and I periodically forget because I'm so busy with the Switch and the PS4. And I was looking over it. I mean, like the selection's not bad. There are some really good indie titles, but the problem is I've either played a lot of them or they're not my kind of genre.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. But yeah, it's not a bad investment at all.
No.
In general, but for me personally, I don't know because I already get plenty of use out of my Switch and my PS4. So
that's the thing. And for all of us, like obviously our primary place to play is PlayStation. You already played all these games on PlayStation. I don't see why you would play these games again on Game Pass. But so Game Pass is great for like if your Xbox is your main platform, then it's amazing. You know what I mean? But for us personally, obviously, it's not going to appeal to us as much. We're gonna have Game Pass just to play the exclusives. You know what I mean? Like Halo, day one. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to pay $70 for Halo Infinite when I know I can get it for $10 and play it on a high-end PC.
Especially with game costs going up.
Exactly, and that's another thing I gotta get into. Game Pass money is gonna even look even more enticing now because PlayStation games are gonna be $70, and now you can get like Game Pass for $1 because they got bundles with everybody. We're gonna get Pornhub bundles at some point in Game Pass. I think there already is, and like I've seen it on Wendy's cups or not Wendy's, it's like Taco Bell or something. Like it's just everywhere. I know people that have Game Pass for 4 years for free. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm just curious how much money they're making on this because, like, I know so many people that got this thing for $1 or like less, just for free.
Yeah, I mean,
they've been giving it away.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I think regardless whether they're making money on it, it's such a good service, and we should protect it at all costs.
Yeah, but like this Bethesda purchase really changes the game now because Xbox has nailed everything so far. They've nailed services. They've been pro-consumer. They record like way the UI's gotten better. How you record games has been better. They've just done everything right. They've been very open, transparent. They've done everything but have games. And now they have all these games under their umbrella. Now they have Wolfenstein and Doom and Fallout and Elder Scrolls and
Skyrim.
Yeah, so
and Skyrim again.
Yeah, Skyrim again. So like now their first party is on the level. I want to say I don't know if it's on the level of like you guys think it's on the level of PlayStation now, or do you think PlayStation still has the edge?
It's a weird thing because like the Bethesda purchase from Xbox, it makes a lot of sense. Like it's a good fit because while Sony's off doing their every game, like as much as I love the type of games Sony puts out, it's hard to deny they're all in the same mold. But what Microsoft has been doing, at least this generation, is like all their games are sort of different. They have something for everyone.
Yeah.
And Bethesda is a very similar sort of situation. Like they do a lot of first person shooters and stuff, sure, but like like Doom is very different from Dishonored.
Right.
Like the Arcane games were very different from the Machine Games games. So like this gives sort of Microsoft a larger area of coverage.
Right. Like how do you guys feel about Bethesda in general? Like before they bought Microsoft bought it. Like Dory, like were you a big fan of Bethesda or kind of
I never got into Doom, which I know is id Software, but it was acquired by Bethesda. I never got into Fallout Boy.
Fallout Boy?
Fallout. I never got into Fallout Boy either, except for those music videos back in MTV. I don't know why Fallout Boy.
Well, that's the name of the guy too. So.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Radioactive Kid and Fallout Boy, right? But anyway,
it's Vault Boy.
What else does Bethesda do besides Fallout?
What?
Fallout Boy.
That's right.
So, what did you say?
Fallout Boy.
What was the question? What was the question?
Sorry. What does Bethesda do besides Fallout and besides Fallout Boy?
Elder Scrolls, Doom, Wolfenstein, Dishonored.
But do you mean
I never got into Skyrim or Elder Scrolls or any of that. Not to say any of those things are bad.
It's fine. Yeah. That's what I'm curious about.
Skyrim and Elder Scrolls and all those games. I mean, I think I like played them once or twice, but I was always really intimidated by how huge they were. Yeah, and I'm just not really into open world games. Fallout's more my speed, but I ended up just playing Outer Worlds, and I never played New Vegas, although I kind of wanted to. But that's more because
it's the best one. Yeah, it's the best one.
Yeah.
Fallout's my favorite Bethesda franchise. That's the one I'm most disappointed that I can't play on PlayStation anymore.
Doom Eternal was the first Doom game I'd ever played. Like I had never played a Doom game before then. I had played Quake, and that was it when I was younger.
Quake 2. Quake. They own Quake now.
Yeah.
Mitch, what about you? How do you feel about Bethesda in general?
Look, besides, well, it's funny because all of the little other studios Bethesda owns, I'm like, yeah, okay, they go from good to great usually. But Bethesda themselves, I just could not care less about any of their first party titles like Fallout, Elder Scrolls. I think it's besides the RPG thing, which not really being my thing, I think it's also the fact that they're still running on an engine that looks like it came from 2008 in 2020 and still pushing that as their big game. They feel kind of behind on a lot of things, like with those type of games. And like, I mean, the fact that, I couldn't, like, if someone presented, 2020 Fallout 76 footage and then showed me Skyrim footage, I'd probably say that they'd be from the same year, except that the fact that there's like 7 to 8 year gap between them.
But yeah, the thing is though, like for Starfield though, apparently they've upgraded they've changed the engine. Did you not see the photo of the old lady?
The old lady.
The old lady.
I only just saw the one.
The Skyrim granny, right? They put her in. They modeled her because they're going to put her in a game or something like that, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, you don't. The old lady that plays Skyrim and like.
Oh, her. Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
the grandma.
She
the grandma.
Went to Bethesda like a couple of years ago, and they did the facial capture and everything, and they made a model of her.
You're right. I know.
I know
you're
her in like Elder Scrolls 6 or something.
Yeah, she's so
like that.
sweet. Yeah, I love her. Yeah, she's amazing.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
But like she looks great in the model of her looks fantastic.
So James, what do you think about Bethesda?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
What's that?
What do you think about Bethesda in general?
I'm a fan of Bethesda. Yeah, I like Skyrim as much as the next guy. I quite liked Fallout 4. I never finished that, mind you, because I spent too much time farming, so I kind of got sick of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a lot of history with the. I don't have a lot of history with Bethesda Game Studios. Are you talking Bethesda Game Studios or Bethesda in general?
Like both, like published and developed, like just in general, like their attitude and things. And
I like a bit of Doom, right? I like the Wolfenstein games, the new ones.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Arcane's games.
I'm not.
That's what else do they have? Is that it? Just Ed, Machine Games, Arcane, and
I don't know them on the top of my head. I'm not good with names, but
Tango Gameworks. So
Tango Gameworks, right. Yeah, I've never really tried any Tango games. And they make the Evil Within. Of course.
That's the only stuff they have so far. So.
Yeah. Okay. No, I've never played those games. So.
What?
Yeah.
No, that's actually understandable with you. The thing with Bethesda with me is Bethesda at the time, like maybe 8 years ago or something, was like my favorite company, one of my favorite developers. But the last few years, they've been really shitty, and they've been on my shit list for quite a while now. Like. They're just as bad as Blizzard. They're the company that used to they were really beloved to me, and then they become greedy. That Fallout 76 disaster, the way they treated their customers, and there's a really cool, there's a great video about it with an internet historian. He's an Australian guy. It's hilarious. It's like an hour long. They treated their customers like complete shit. Todd Howard lied he just lied. Like everything he said was a complete lie. And
well, the thing is, right, when you've got more controversies for one game than you can count on your hand, that's when you know you've probably got too many controversies.
Yeah, but it wasn't even the Fallout 76 stuff. It was Rage 2 was disappointing. The new Wolfenstein was disappointing. Prey wasn't that great. It was kind of forgettable.
You didn't like Prey? I mean, I
no, it was
alright.
Prey. It was alright.
But people love that game.
I know people that don't care. That game is very forgettable. It bombed completely. So.
I know Prey's like sort of one of those games that's got like a little cult following.
Yeah, from the 90s.
It's one of those games where people either find it really forgettable or like really
I think most
amazing.
people don't care for that game. Like, I think that's the consensus.
I think that's the perfect game to put on Game Pass then, don't you think?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's on PS Now. It's on PS Now too.
Oh, yeah.
But you can find it in the bargain bin for like $5. But
well, I'm excited to give it a try because it's the type of game where it's like,
no, it's not bad. It's just it's like
you don't know if you're gonna like it or not.
It was like a tumbleweed. It was like tumbleweed in the wind.
Left and right. It's just it's not. Even like you know, I think the Fallout series is kind of cool, and like I respect the determination to make things like Elder Scrolls work as a franchise. I mean, those games are so massive, even if they're very buggy. Like those, that's one of the franchises I'm okay with like having some bugs in because they're just so massive.
But when it comes to like Fallout 4 though, and then like Fallout 76, like they started really like getting the bug thing. The whole bug thing started getting real old. Like that was a charm like in 2011. Go ahead.
That's just complete like lack of regard for your customer.
Yeah, because they started doing the whole marketing thing. Oh, like bugs are cute. It's part of our game. It's the appeal of the game. And like don't fall for that bullshit. Like you guys are just being lazy at this point. I mean, Fallout 76 was such a disaster for that company. They've destroyed their image completely.
It's probably, to be fair, it's probably more of a higher up sort of executive decision where they had to push it out and they didn't have time to fix the bugs rather than being lazy per se. But
they gave it to the C team or the F team, like in Texas, like some random small team. You get this big IP, and people have been dying for an MMO or multiplayer Fallout game forever. You just gave it to like your small indie F team, like in Texas, some random place, and then like that's the people that worked on the game. It wasn't their main developer that makes Fallout games that did 76. But they've just been on my shit list the last few years, so it's nothing to do with Microsoft buying them. I've been very disappointed with Bethesda the last few years. I thought their press conferences are out of touch. I hate the fake crowds. I hate the guy screaming "yeah" like the whole conference. The lady screaming.
That was fantastic.
It's so fake.
He just kept interrupting them.
Yeah, it's so fake though.
It was great, but like the thing that got me with the press conference last year was like, you don't need to have, if you don't have any announcements, you don't need to have a press conference, you know? And they didn't have any announcements, really. Yeah,
plus they put I forget the name of it, but the game with the two kids in the spaceship, they made that a mobile game. It's a very classic, like 80s or 90s platformer or whatever. They made it like a mobile game. Well, people were furious. Captain something. People were furious. Like that. They've been on a shit list for the last 3 years with people.
Wait, was it Commander King?
Something like that?
Commander King? Yeah.
Something like that. But I
know what you mean.
Yeah, so them and Blizzard have really fallen off the cliff. Because you know Blizzard.
I'm surprised that
go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I'm surprised that after what was it, Diablo Eternal or whatever on mobile, and just the reaction to that more companies didn't go, maybe we shouldn't resurrect, beloved franchises on mobile devices. Maybe let's just do that. Yeah.
But so overall though, as much as Bethesda's kind of gone on my nerves recently, this is a great sign. This is great for Microsoft. This is a huge move. Like, don't get me wrong, this is awesome for Microsoft. You know what I mean? So what developer or publisher would you want Sony to buy? Like, do you want Sony to retaliate? I'll start with Dory.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Then it kind of gets into a petty pricing bid war between two huge corporations. I don't know how much I care. That makes me feel like going back to the stuff with Fortnite and Apple and all that stuff. But I don't know if Sony's gonna buy up somebody. I don't know. I guess like I can't even think of anyone off the top of my head that I would really want them to buy out.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm like, even when it benefits me, like exclusives, I'm not like huge fans of, and these days they don't really seem to be lasting anyway. I can't really think of anyone I would want Sony necessarily to buy up, because there's the short-term gain of like, okay, this is cool. Like, there's the fun fan thing of like, well, now Halo and Master Chief and Doom Guy can all hang out. But there's also the long term of like, oh my God, giant corporations are monopolizing all of the media, and now there's not going to be a bunch of corporations competing. It's just going to be one owning a bunch of others. So, like, there's a short term benefit and long term.
The Disney thing, basically.
Yeah. Yes. Well, basically Disney.
That's the thing. Like, I was annoyed. I mean, I don't know if I'd say I was annoyed actually, but I was kind of irked when Sony bought Insomniac, because I mean, like, they were doing fine. They had a great relationship with Insomniac before. They were making plenty of exclusives and everything, and like we're making plenty of great games. But it just sort of, I get it gives them security, so I understand why they did it. but at the same time, it takes away their sort of freedom to go in another direction if they have if they have a really great idea for a game and Sony turns it down, they just can't do that now.
Yeah.
Whereas before they could have gone to Microsoft,
I guess that's a little different because like 95% of their games were PlayStation games, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but then at the same time, there's the other argument of do you want to take away games from Xbox players? I mean, if it's not necessary, because I'm not entirely sure if there's that many benefits to, for the consumers for PlayStation buying.
Well, here's the thing:
a studio.
Sony's more cutthroat than Microsoft generally, and Microsoft, if Sony bought Bethesda, their games are not coming to Microsoft. Like Sony would have kept those exclusive completely, and Sony. Yeah. What people don't understand, I guess, there's another way to look at. Like, remember when Spider-Man was coming to Avengers and it was exclusive? Like, I guess on the surface, it's anti-consumer for people outside PlayStation, but like for its players, it's very pro-consumer, right? Because you do what's best for your own people. You know what I mean? Your own customers. Sony's a lot more cutthroat for that. But now, like Mitch, what do you like? Who do you think Sony should purchase?
I mean, I'd say I'm, with Dory and whatnot, how I don't really care for the whole, companies buying companies and studios buying studios.
Yeah, man, it's a dumb question. Get out of here.
But if I was to say one studio that I think Sony should buy out, besides, the obvious Insomniac and whatnot, which they already have done, I've seen a couple people toss around Remedy Entertainment, which...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not all for the idea, but I think if, PlayStation paired with Remedy, I think they'd be able to probably do some really interesting things, because Sony and PlayStation definitely seems like the better platform for like more story-based experiences that sort of push their respective genres forward. So I'd say, at least in at least for maybe a one-game basis or something, I'd say PlayStation Remedy would be a pretty good pairing.
Well, here's the thing. We know Sony's been shopping around. There's been a ton of smoke with Sony's been talking to developers, and they're definitely going to be doing something in the near future. They're going to be buying studios, and in terms of studios that I think they would buy, the obvious ones would be obviously Blue Point Games, Housemarque, Remedy. Those are the realistic purchases. Obviously they won't cost $7 billion to buy. When the announcement first came out, Konami was trending because PlayStation fans were like, they wanted Sony to retaliate and buy Konami. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, but does anyone actually want Sony to buy Konami, or
I do.
Just want
but not to buy? I want the IPs. I don't give a shit about the company.
Yeah, the IPs. Exactly.
They're not going to buy Konami because they're into more than just video games, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
But they're not. But they're kind of worthless. They're not really that expensive right now. Sony dropped $4 billion or something.
The problem is they could buy, they should buy the IPs if anything. But
I think that's more likely.
Are Konami gonna let those go easy?
No, probably not. It's probably gonna cost $1, but.
I think it probably cost more than $1.
No, it's gonna cost a pretty penny. But
imagine if it did cost $1. Wow.
No, it's gonna cost when I say $1, I mean it's gonna cost probably $3 to $4 billion or something like that. But I think Microsoft obviously has unlimited money compared to Sony. Sony's not even close to Microsoft's level of financial, but financially, but Sony can. Realistically, I guess, out of the big ones, I mean, maybe it's not good for the industry or not, but there's been talks about Square Enix. There's been talks about Capcom. I think Capcom will be more likely than Square Enix. I think
the
Square Enix is too big.
The chances of them buying a publisher,
I can see that,
are that's not gonna. They're not gonna buy a publisher.
No, I mean, I can see it. I don't think it's impossible.
Yeah,
but I think it's in the realm of possibility that Sony does something crazy like that. 'Cause I still think
I don't listen. So Sony, PlayStation is by far Sony's biggest moneymaker, and is thus the place they're most likely to invest money into.
Yeah.
But the amount of money that it would cost to buy a publisher,
right,
that's not worth it to Sony.
It might not be, but I'm just saying I don't think it's impossible either. I do think it's more likely they buy the IPs. But I think I don't know if Capcom would ever sell Resident Evil the IP to PlayStation. You know what I mean? But I think Konami might do that if they're really struggling or something. But we'll see. I'm kind of talking out of my ass, but I do think realistically that Blue Point Games is very. I do expect them to buy Blue Point Games at some point. I do think I do think Housemarque will be bought eventually within 2 years.
I already kind of just assumed Housemarque was
Sony studio. Second party.
I think a lot of people probably assume that Blue Point is a PlayStation studio as well.
Yeah.
And so it's like those are the most likely studios because they obviously already have a very good relationship with Sony, and that's why Insomniac sold to Sony, because they had a good relationship with them and they knew that they worked well together.
Yeah.
Because there's more than just the money, right? There's those sort of whether you work together well with that publisher. Yeah,
I agree. The relationship is really important, which is why, obviously, I do think PlayStation has a very strong, Sony has a very strong relationship with Square Enix, obviously, and they have a strong relationship with Capcom. So if Sony did buy a publisher, it would be Japanese, I'd imagine. You know what I mean? But is there a Western publisher that you think Sony could buy, realistically? Could
it would have to be it'd have to be an indie publisher.
Yeah,
I think because if they were to buy a big publisher, that's a pipe dream.
Yeah, right? It's not going to be Rockstar or Five.
But then at the same time, the only indie publisher I can really think of, because it's not going to be Annapurna, because Annapurna is part of a larger company.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
And it's not. I don't think it'll be Devolver, because Devolver clearly likes their independence and all the because their whole thing is they let the developers keep the IPs.
Yeah,
and they're not going to want to give that up because Sony's going to want them to give that up and that sort of thing. Yeah. So, and those are the two big indie publishers, right?
Right.
So I don't know, honestly. I can't think of any.
It's going to be interesting what happens because Microsoft's not done, they said. So there's been a rumor recently that they're going to buy Sega. Sega and Microsoft have a great relationship going back to the original Xbox. So I'm curious how that turns out. I don't think they already said they're not getting Sega, I think, but it's out there, you know what I mean? And that'd be a big blow to Sony too.
The tweet from Double Fine Productions. I don't know if everybody saw this, but on the day that Microsoft bought Bethesda, they're like, "So in Double Fine news, we bought ourselves a pizza today."
Yeah, that's funny. No. So in conclusion, the big concern for Sony right now is that all these companies are. Obviously, Microsoft's going in this totally different direction, and we're heading for subscription models and streaming and all that. And Sony, it feels like Sony's kind of falling behind. We'll see what happens. I'm very curious what happens this generation, because Sony's is staying very traditional this generation. So we'll see how much of a difference staying true to themselves is gonna last this generation. We'll see if Sony wavers in their decisions. So this generation could be the last generation that we know gaming as we know it. You know what I mean? This might be the last console generation, or maybe PlayStation has a 6, or maybe they don't. We just don't know. You know what I mean? This generation's very curious what happens. So I'll just end on that note. Obviously, with this one a little long, but I think with more topics, there's a lot happened this week. So,
a lot of big sort of topics to dwell on, I guess you could say. Yeah.
I still can't believe Microsoft bought Fall Out Boy. That's wild.
I know. All things music they're going to make then. No, okay. They're getting into music publishing.
Yeah. All right.
Gotta own it.
You guys have a good night. Peace. Arrivederci. Buonanotte. What's up, PlayStation fans? Thank you for listening and watching the PSPremiere podcast. We upload every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you like what you heard, click the like button and subscribe.